Hi. Um, I don't know how to start this, but I'll just anyways. Um, I just started this podcast. I haven't even titled it. So by the time you hear it, I mean, you probably see a title. You probably see a title, but as I am talking right now, I haven't titled it. I have narrowed it down, I've narrowed the title down to about seven, and I shared with my folks. And my folks don't know, not all my folks, but a couple of them do not want me to use my name. But I think it's just wiser to use my name. Shouldn't I use my name? Shouldn't I mention, my powerful name? I mean, I'm not Ronaldo, but someday I just might be. So, anywho, I'm going to jump straight to why I'm here today. Today marks the first anniversary of my mom's death. She passed away a year ago. Well, it's not up to a year. It's about 364 days and a couple of hours. Well, she dies in 4 hours. She died on November 17th at, I think, 10:15 p.m. But she had cancer. Before I even say how we figured it out, I won't say too much. But long and short is the day she died, or just before she passed away, a driver stole her car. Unbelievable. I mean, we decided to finish up with, funeral arrangements, stuff. And then we then followed up with the Nigerian police to try to get the guy. And I mean, I think that's a story for another day. But all I would say now is I think I would pick an armed robber over walking over to the Nigerian police to complain about anything. I mean, anything. But that's not why I'm here. We found out that my mom had cancer about 4 months before she passed. And I think that was very hurtful or painful. That was very painful because, I mean, you're here with someone today. She's weak. She falls ill and she can't move anymore. She can't walk. She kind of falls unconscious, sepsis, all sorts, the whole shebang. And she suffered. My mom suffered for 4 months. So unbelievable. When you watch the movies, The Fault in Our Stars and the ECCs, the movies are real. You just don't feel as much as they feel. You think you do until it happens to you. And I think what hurts is, the previous years before, 2, 3, 4 years before, she complains of a pain in her knee, a pain in her arm, a pain here, a pain there. And, we all thought, okay, maybe because she's just a bit overweight, maybe it's the weight, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. We thought it was everything but cancer. We thought it was everything but cancer. Unbelievable. So, anywho, what was I going to say? We found out it was cancer, multiple myeloma. That's cancer of the blood plasma. I mean, how do you heal that? If it was cancer of the leg or the nose or the, something, we could chop it off and hope for the best. But what the hell do you do about blood plasma? And it was stage 4. We found out it was cancer stage 4. 4 months after that, she was no more. I remember talking with a friend of mine and, I was talking about how I don't think too much about it and, I'm over it. And immediately she said, no, Chidum, you sound like you need therapy. And at the back of my mind, I was like, oh, wow. Because deep down, and not even deep down, even on the surface, I know that I am not healed. I know that I haven't moved on healthily. That's the word. Because, you're never going to forget them, but, at a point, you're going to need to heal. Well, that's the word. I won't say I haven't moved on. I have not healed. And, they say men shouldn't show their emotions. Men shouldn't be vulnerable. I'm not really here to be vulnerable. I'm here to treat myself. So my friend said I needed therapy. As a Nigerian guy, I feel when I say I feel or I believe, or I have been trained, I've been trained to believe, or not by my dad, please, by society. I've been trained to believe that therapy is not for men, and no offense to women. Well, I think I would try to better say what I just said. We have been trained to think that therapy is not masculine. You go in there and share your feelings. Oh my God, and you cry a bit, you know. But I think about it, and in my mind, I'm like, yes, I do need therapy, but I don't know if I want to go to a therapist and pay someone to tell me how I feel. I know how I feel. And I don't know how to stop feeling how I feel. And sometimes I wonder if I actually need to stop feeling how I feel, because how I feel, I do not think how I feel affects other people negatively. I don't think it affects my own personal life negatively. I just have my quiet moments. But there's something I remember after my mom passed. I'm talking about, the day after, 2 days after. We all huddled home. Thankfully, everyone is in Lagos. Even my dad, like my parents lived in Lagos all their lives, all of their married life. And they were married for a good number of years, 40 plus, 40 freaking plus. That's older than me. I mean, obviously, duh. But anyway, um, I noticed that none of us saw the other cry, at least in the early stage. Yeah, in the early stage, I don't think I saw any of my siblings cry. And I knew they definitely didn't see me cry. But did I cry? Oh man, I bawled my eyes out. I wept bitterly, bitterly. But when and where, I'll tell you. My dad stays on the island, far off on the island. I stay on the mainland. Would you believe that I would leave my dad's house and come to my place on the mainland just to cry, just to weep, just to gnash my teeth? I wasn't angry with God. I mean, I do believe in God. I don't know about you guys. But I wasn't angry with God. I was just pained. I was just pained. I just know that when I wanted to cry, I'd go to the shower or I'd go into my room and I would just weep because I felt this deep, deep agony, not emptiness, agony. That's what I felt. I felt like I was in poetry. I felt a deep agony, a deep pain. You know when you're eating a meal and you're on the last spoon of that delicious jollof rice and maybe someone steals it or pushes it down or throws your turkey on the floor. You know that bile taste, that deep digging in your belly. I felt that. But it wasn't just my belly, it was my belly, it was my heart, it was my soul. Did I know my mom was going to pass? Yeah, I did. But I thought we had a bit more time. Now, while she was sick, I thought we had a bit of time. Before she fell sick, I thought we had a lot of time. And there's something I think about almost every week, and I'm not exaggerating. Or maybe almost every month. I'll say almost every month. And I've thought about it for the past 15 years. I kid you not. I've thought about this for the past 15 years. I remember when I was, I think, 10 years old, my mom bought me a toothbrush. A simple toothbrush, but it was beautiful. That time we stayed in Ilupeju. We were all upstairs in her dressing room. She had a big dressing room. So there was the master bedroom, the dressing room, and then my parents' bathroom. So we were in the dressing room. And I don't know how we were all there. My dad wasn't there, but just the kids. So I think she bought stuff for each of us. And she brought out the toothbrush. And when she brought it out, it was so beautiful. I was going to rush across the hand, give her a big hug. In a split second, just a split second, I stopped myself. And I was like, no, Chidum, you wouldn't be a big boy if you run over and hug her. And everything I'm saying happened in a split second. It was much less than half of a second. And I didn't hug my mom. I mean, not that I've hugged her, other times since then. But that was the most significant hug I could have given her. Or the last hug I gave her was after she passed on her hospital bed. And I gave her a hug, and all I kept saying was, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I said it about 10 times. And I don't know why, but I did. I think it was thanking him for taking her out of the misery. I think it was thanking him for accepting her into his bosom, because I know that she's an elder. There was a priest who visited her the evening she died, or just before she died. His eyes were glassy, and he looked at my dad and he looked at me and he said, "She's going to heaven soon." When I remember what he said, it breaks my heart. It rips my heart to shreds. But I'm not here to break down. I'm just here to speak my truth. Oh, did I say my truth? I'm just here to start my podcast. And I want to start it from the heart. I didn't want to start with some fun, lively topic that people would want to dance to or jump to or make go viral. I think I owed my first episode to my mom, because she drove me to make my first podcast episode. I mean, I've done a couple of podcasts before, but this I'm going to continue. Yeah, so the priest said she's going to heaven soon, and I knew. I knew it was that night or the next morning. I knew. And we all went back home. I got home, I think, 8 p.m. And then by, I think, 10-ish, we got the message that, hey, she's having a cardiac arrest. You guys need to come. It seems like this is the end. And we all rushed. We rushed to the hospital. But she had passed before we got there. What I'm most thankful for while my mom was ill, and I really hope I don't break down saying what I'm about to say. What I'm most thankful for is she lived to see my birthday, at least that year. I feel really bad for my younger brother because she didn't see his birthday that year. And it was a deep period of mourning during my brother's birthday, because she died just less than a month before. I remember on my birthday at work, I wore a pink sweater, cream trousers, and my beautiful brown boots. I looked dashing, by the way. And we finished work late, and I told myself, hey man, I must go to the island and see my mom at the hospital. And I did. I went to the hospital. I went and I saw her, and she couldn't speak. So she saw me and she was a bit confused because everyone comes in together and goes out together. So I came a bit late, and I greeted her, hugged her, and I told her, I said, Mom, today is my birthday. And she smiled and she mouthed, wow. She couldn't say it, but she mouthed it. I don't know what could have been a better birthday present. I think I'll think about that every month until I die. Yeah. She said, wow. And then I sat with her and she fell asleep. I was there for about an hour. I felt fulfilled. And I went back home. My older sister asked me to come back to the family house since I was already not too far away. But I couldn't. I wouldn't, because I knew that if I got home, I would break down and then they would see me cry. And that was not meant to be. Be strong, children. Cry alone. Weep in the silence of your bedroom. Weep. But yeah, I'm glad I embraced it and I wept. I wish I did in front of my family, but then it is what it is. I'm going solo today. In the future, I'll pull in a couple of people, friends, family, strangers even. But we'll get there. I just wanted to say thank you for being a part of this. I appreciate you listening. I apologize to anyone who thinks I'm a big ass baby for feeling bad. I feel how I feel. I really don't care. But this is my first podcast, and I really hope you enjoy not just this, but the future. Take it easy, guys. My name is Chidum. God bless.